guys, I'm here at Sticks in Somerville with the founder, Dan. Dan, what's going on, sir?
Thank you for coming down and hooking up and also becoming a member of Stick Cigars.
Absolutely.
My name is Dan. I'm a first responder, firefighter in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Started Stick Cigars of Broadway. We started our 7th year in August, and we are entering our 2nd year of Stick Cigars of Somerville.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate you. So Dan, a question for you. With you being the founder of Sticks, what inspired you to start Sticks?
What inspired me to start Sticks Cigars was a friend of mine and we would go out to lunch once a week. And it could be steakhouses, a dive bar, a local eatery. And we would look for a place that we could go and smoke afterwards.
Yeah.
And little by little, instead of going and enjoying the leaf, we were nitpicking. We were nitpicking of like the cleanliness, the decor.
Gotcha.
We would bring a bottle in. They wouldn't have glassware. They had no ice.
Right.
And then the air cleaning system, where they would close early, like at 7 o'clock. I focused on 4 key elements.
Okay.
And the 4 key elements were hours of operation, air cleaning system, customer service, and ambiance.
Love those.
And we did Stick Cigars in mind, very masculine for men, but very chic decor for welcoming the female smokers also.
I love that because there are plenty of female smokers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and through the years, it's growing.
Yes.
And what we've noticed that, sometimes they're intimidated to come in, but having a welcoming hostess,
Yes.
and
Yes.
my partner and I, it makes it feel like Cheers.
I like that you walk in, everybody knows your name.
There you go.
I mean, when I first walked past, I was like, oh, this is a private club, and I really didn't know what it was. And so one day I decided to walk in, and to your point, everybody made me feel so welcome. So how did you go about designing this establishment so it felt so welcome and have the vibe that it has and the atmosphere it has?
What we notice with other establishments or cigars, venues, they're cliquey. Their groups are cliquey, and we've been very fortunate that Stick Cigars has grown to be very diverse.
Yes.
Different cultures.
Absolutely.
And we've grown from that.
Yeah.
From business people to blue collar to professionals, also blacks, Indians, Asian,
Seeing it all.
Spanish.
Absolutely.
And we've been very fortunate, and we love it. It's a big melting pot.
Yeah. Well, we all get to come around and talk about something that's all near and dear to us, which is cigars, right? So we all have that in common. So when everyone gets together, it opens up for great conversation, which kind of leads me into my next question for you. What sparked your love of cigars? You mentioned smoking for 25 years. When
Yes.
did you have your first stick? What made you fall in love with cigars?
I actually had an older aunt, like in her 60s.
Yeah.
And she would go, when she would visit us, she would go behind the pool, and the only thing you saw was puff, smoke. And one day, I was young, I approached her, and it was a cigar.
Right.
And that was my first interest.
Okay.
But I never tried until actually when I was like 20 years old.
Okay. Got it.
And I was never into cigarettes, and nothing against people that smoke cigarettes, but I actually smoked my first cigar, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Didn't know what I was doing.
Right. Same.
And choked a little bit, inhaled a little bit, but I actually enjoyed it.
Okay.
And from there on, I've been smoking since.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a relaxing, enjoyable thing.
So women do smoke. Even your aunt so many years ago was smoking back then. I never knew anyone smoking cigars until I was probably in my late 20s, maybe early 30s, and had my first experience with a cigar. But since then,
What was your first cigar?
Winter 858.
Wow.
That was my first one.
Wow.
And that was someone that's not what I would recommend someone start with,
Yes.
but that's what someone gave me, and I inhaled, mistaken. However, I learned to really appreciate a good cigar. Speaking of which, there are so many people who will probably watch this that are a little intimidated to come in here because they don't know how to choose a cigar. What are some advice you can give to people for choosing their first cigar? Like, what should they be looking for?
I know I'm going to get a lot of static from this.
All right, all good. Let's do it.
And I'll explain why.
Mm-hmm.
Male or female, I tend to steer them to a flavor infused cigar.
Oh yeah.
Why? And everyone that's watching this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, why did you say that?" It's like when you start drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Most likely, it's a vodka and cranberry, vodka pineapple, rum and coke.
Yeah.
You don't drink a whiskey straight up if it's your first beverage.
Very good point.
Your palate is a virgin,
right?
And your taste buds and everything, and you don't want to discourage that individual from not pursuing or trying another cigar.
I agree.
So I usually ask what they like. We have different kind of infused cigars.
Okay.
And then introduce them to that, and within 2 or 3 months, they could stay medium body, or they're smoking full body cigars.
But that's just how you start off. And I have to tell you, I still enjoy a flavor. You give me a Tabac, you give me a Drew Estates, Fat Bottom Betty, some of those, I still enjoy them. Just every once in a while.
I tend to smoke one once in a while, early morning, empty stomach, nice coffee.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yes.
So speaking of, cigars and people having their first experience, when someone comes in here,